was
Okay.
not.
I
It was
did
not
not
important to me.
say puberty blockers are safe. You're such a retard. You say things that I never said.
But you were there. How did it
You
go
have
down?
mental illness.
I
was
swear
the
to God,
one that-
I was definitely not there.
Okay, I thought you meant.
First, I owe Kelly Jean an apology. I asked her if I was being sexist, and she said no. Then I asked if anyone else was, and she said no. I said, "Is anyone being unfair to you?" And she said,
Kelly,
Typical
dude, I'm
Supreme.
sitting here watching Kelly getting gassed up by like 3 different people. It's hilarious.
"Hey, well, listen. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So I just said it." Kelly, I owe you an apology. That was wrong.
That's okay.
Shut up,
She
Kelly.
got a bit upset.
I will
It's
say,
okay.
I will
okay.
say, Destiny. I feel like your streams reach higher highs, but I feel like overall quality of your streams are inferior to Hassan's stream. I think Hassan, in terms of quality of content and consistency,
Did that just say that I leave? What a
I can't dislike a woman.
You
on
did
any-
slap Brittany Simon though. I mean,
I did.
Have you considered that?
At her request, I think.
Jesus.
You want to slap me?
Yeah, Steven, this is for you.
I want it.
My hand. Okay, this is how you guys get equality in life. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. That is me actually being a really good ally, doing what the empowered woman wants. I think it's a bit different.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're gonna beat the sexism allegations. I believe in you.
absolutely. I mean, everyone tries to make it. I don't mind. I think because I'm a black man, I can just say they're being racist and then get out of it.
Oh, true. You're uncancelable.
Exactly. I've seen people use that against Destiny. I can definitely use it against others.
You
But I-
summoned me. How
Yes,
you
Kelly.
doing?
Yes, Kelly. Because I didn't enjoy our conversation yesterday. Didn't enjoy talking to you. I think a lot of people thought I was a sexist, and I wanted to give you a
Oh,
chance
you're not a
to make your.
sexist.
Did you feel like I was engaging in sexism against you?
No, not at all. That's weird.
Great. Did you feel like I was being unfair to you? You can have a chance to criticize me now.
No, I don't think so. WickedSupreme was. But I don't think you were. You just talk a lot, which I like because I like listening to you. So it's not like a bad thing.
Okay.
Sorry, I probably didn't interject correctly on a number of occasions, but I wasn't the only one who was kind of bad at that. So
Oh my god, who fucking let Kelly in here?
Abba
Listen, dude, we need
specifically
content.
summoned me.
Wait, who,
Summoned
is that someone else?
is a very strong word.
Let him
Summoned
know.
is a
Tell
very
him how it was
strong
unfair
word.
to you.
Stop!
Let's hear it.
Whoa! Everybody shut the up. Abba was gonna talk about something interesting, and now 50 million of you are fucking sliding into here. Chill. Christ. Okay.
I mean, Destiny. Whenever you go into Destiny's room, I feel like this is just what you want to happen. No.
Not if we're gonna talk about something actually interesting.
Okay. All right. So, in regards to the whole substituting porn for sex thing,
Yeah, go for it.
Feel as though there's no world in which you could see that men who are masturbating would either kind of mentally persuade themselves not to go out and have sex, or feel very like unmotivated to do so.
Like, I think the answer is yes, but not anywhere near as connected as people are, as you guys are saying. So we either completely agree or completely disagree with this. So like, I can imagine a world where a guy's kind of like shy and lazy and doesn't go out much and he like jerks off to porn. But I could never imagine a world where a guy like has a group of friends and there's like, women in that group and some of them want to, maybe hang out or whatever. And he's like, I could ask her out and, go and hang out and stuff, or I could just masturbate. I think I'm just going to do that instead. I could see the former happening, but never the latter.
Yeah, okay, but most people are not having sex. Well, actually, I'm not gonna say most people. Okay, I don't believe that a lot of people's sex happens that way. Most folks either meet people through online dating or have people they're peripherally interested in, but not that deeply, but enough to have sex. And sometimes, instead of going to see that person that you have like kind of pointless sex with, you're just like, I'll masturbate, and that happens often. I do it sometimes.
Wait, hold
Go
on.
ahead.
That's a way, way, way different thing. If you're gonna okay, hold on. I might agree with this, but if you're saying that like you're a guy that regularly, and one night you could go out and hook up with a girl, be like, I'm just gonna jerk off tonight. Yeah, I could totally see some people doing that. But she was saying that there are like virgins, like incels, like people that never go out and chase women because they don't need to, because now they have porn. Those are two totally different things, I think.
No, but I think it is one of those coping mechanisms that probably helps them convince themselves they don't. But I would agree with you that for most of those incels, if they had an opportunity with someone they really like, they would, even if they just beat their meat, they would cut off their dick and reattach it to go f the person if they really had an opportunity.
Oh, fuck you. Then I think we probably agree on everything.
Which is fair. We agree. It's just the way you framed it. You just sound like, in general, like, no, there's no way I could see a man. I was like, this sounds crazy. Like, there's
Well, no,
definitely a lot
because
of men.
the context
Okay,
that we were talking about was in the context of like incels and stuff. that there are some men, because she's quoting, I think, a Jordan Peterson line where Jordan Peterson says, like men don't feel the same drive to chase women today because they just have porn. And it's like, there's probably a lot of men that don't have the same drive to go pursue women, but I don't think it's because of porn. I think it's because of all the other shit in life. I don't think people are like, oh, I've got porn, I don't need to have sex with a real woman anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then that's that. If you guys are just talking about incel
Fuck
specifically,
you.
then I'm
Oh,
wrong.
also, listen, we had a discussion 2 nights ago when my game ended. I think I lost that game, and my gym closed in like 50 minutes. So I had to leave like immediately. So I didn't leave because I was like mad or anything. I think some people.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, we already talked about that.
Yeah,
so
sure.
we're good.
Yeah, no, I know. But I
wanted
wanted people probably to know. I wasn't like, this guy, I'm out of here. Like, my gym was closing in literally like 50 minutes, so I had to run down and do my shit. So yeah, but
I will say though, I felt like during that trans discussion, I would have liked to hear a little bit more from you because I thought you were the one. Well, you and maybe Zonyo had like a really good perspective in regards to that whole topic. But it's fine. We can hash that.
oh sure. I think I feel like I interjected a couple times, but I didn't want to like take over the conversation. I guess.
Bruh, you asked me and Brittany to join, then it just turned to a fucking free fall.
Yeah,
so
because
I lost the sus.
Yeah.
It's all good. It happens. But yeah, I guess that we don't disagree on this topic, so I won't just fight you for the sake of fighting you on it.
Yeah, that's what you think.
All right, I will leave you guys to it, and yeah, have a good one.
Okay, be careful. Do you see how that guy fucking pussied out of here immediately when he realized how ONED he was? Okay, who's left in here? I know all of you fuckers didn't leave.
I'm still here,
Oh.
but you told us to be quiet, so I was being quiet.
Okay, well, you can speak now. What's up?
Thank you.
I'm just hanging out
I
playing
was-
some Apex.
Nice. How was dealing with Reddit the other day, Forethought?
What do you mean?
Fun? I saw there was a bunch of deleted comments.
Oh, you know,
Ooh.
some sexism.
I didn't even get to see most of them because you deleted them so fucking fast. So I don't even know what they were saying.
Wow, simpler.
No, he left plenty of negative stuff up there, and just not like straight up misogyny. I
Jesus
guess.
Christ! Imagine losing to a cannon rush in 2023. Holy fuck!
You think I'm losing? I just crushed this dude. I didn't even lose my fucking expo. Nice try, though, dipshit. What are you ranked in this fucking game now? Do they have a toddler league?
Sorry, dude. I play real games.
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm wondering where Forethought is and why no work is being done on my subreddit, I just hop onto my fucking Bronze League Apex account and I queue up and he's in every single fucking game. That's the kind of gamer you are, okay? Don't ever forget it.
Steve, that's called projection.
Projection?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I project LP losses on you whenever we're on opposite
Do you think
teams,
projection
okay?
is a real thing? I go back and forth on it.
It is. I think it's crazy, but yeah, it is. Oh my god, look at my position here. It's fucking perfect. Okay, well, hey, you guys all joined. Abba left. What are you going to say? What are we doing?
I sent you a message. I
What'd you
wanted to
send a
ask
message?
if we can talk about puberty blockers or not.
Yeah,
Because
what
it
do you
was
want to talk
brought
about?
up-
Please no. Oh God, please not trans.
Yes,
issues
I want to
like
talk about
that. I'm
trans
gonna
issues
kill
with
myself.
Kelly.
No.
Kelly's about to redeem herself in the eyes of the chat.
Oh God.
Go ahead, Kelly. What do you got? What about him?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, what about puberty blockers?
Well, it was just brought up in the kidology conversation.
Indeed,
so,
it was.
Okay, so there seems to be a lot of, I guess, boogeyman type of conversations around puberty blockers, which is odd because a lot of the talking points that are brought up are like, we don't know what they do. But I'm like, these are medications that have existed for like nearly 40 years. We know what they do. They weren't developed specifically for trans kids. They were developed to stop precocious puberty and a number of like different illnesses, yes, that can cause that. So I don't understand, because we discussed a lot of this after the stream. You stopped the stream on Tuesday. But
Yeah.
a lot of people seem to not have really looked into any of the medications that are available for puberty blocking. And puberty blockers are a misnomer by themselves, right? Because all of these medications do something else. They're not just for puberty blocking.
Who's
Okay.
a lot of people? Who are you subtweeting right now?
I think
It's like the
people-
progressive
mean-
community, just conservatives.
Everybody that was in the chat on Tuesday, so it was Abba, another guy I don't remember the name of,
Ooh.
WickedSupreme.
Ooh.
WickedSupreme
Ooh.
decided to say to me that because he asked me for my credentials, I guess because I listed the names of things he didn't know how to Google or whatever. I don't know.
Wicked Supreme.
I'm not sure. But then he said, oh, we must ignore her because she's not a doctor, whilst everyone else in the chat was also not a fucking doctor. So it was a really strange comment, and then just refused to engage. So I was like, all right, never mind.
That sounds like Wicked Supreme, actually. Like,
Sounds exactly like me.
Yeah.
All right, GSU Gambit brought up that some children's hospital in Sweden decided to stop sort of, what is it, administering puberty blockers en masse, except for outside of research trials or something like that. And then some national medical advisory board picked up and carried that momentum, and it became sort of a national policy that they were going to stop blanket prescribing puberty blockers. And so I told GSU Gambit, okay, I want to look into this. And then Kelly came in and said they're perfectly safe. There's no
I didn't
side
say
effects.
that. I never said they were perfectly safe, and it was me
Okay,
that gave a side effect.
the point is, I don't
It
care.
was literally me.
The point is, I don't care what you have to say about this issue.
Yeah, I mean, clearly you do not care. But
Yeah,
you
why-
can't just
why should
discredit
I?
someone because I'm not a doctor when the rest of you weren't doctors either. The only person that stuck up for me in that conversation was the random conservative American
Why
Nacho.
should I care what you have to say about this
Because I didn't say
situation in
anything that was
Sweden?
incorrect, and you were just like, ignore her.
No, you
Like,
started
who
talking
does
about how the
that?
only negative side effect of puberty blockers is some negligible loss in bone mass or something.
No, that
and
wasn't
I
the
said,
only
I said,
one.
listen,
I
don't
gave
care
that
what
as
you
an
have to
example.
say.
Do you not understand what an example is?
Why do I care what you have to say about it?
Well, why were you in there telling other people that they should ignore me too? Like, if you want to ignore me, fine.
I didn't
Weird,
say
but
anything about
okay.
that.
Yes, you did.
I just
You
said I
said
don't
we
care what you
should
have to say
ignore
about
her
this.
'cause
You're
she's
not a
not a
doctor. I
doctor.
want to look into this, and I want to see what they
Did
say
you
about
say
it.
that?
None of you motherfuckers
Wicked
were
Supreme.
doctors either.
Did you
Yes,
say
you did.
we should
Exactly.
ignore her because she's not a
He asked my
doctor?
credentials
Which is
and
why
then
I didn't
said,
care
"Oh,
what
you're not a
GSU
doctor."
Gambit had to say about it either. That's why I wanted to look into the situation. I wanted to look into the literature. I wanted to look into the reasoning that they gave and see if there was any medical literature supplied with that.
But if you had asked me, oh, why do you
Why would
know
I ask
so
you?
much about this topic?
Ooh.
Because you're asking my credentials. So if you were interested, you could ask me, why do you know so much about this topic? You're not a doctor. I'm doubtful. I could have told you the reason is because I take 2 anti-androgens, which are the same types of medications that are listed under puberty blockers
That
as
doesn't
well.
mean anything to me. Why do I care about that?
Ooh,
That
I mean,
has
she
nothing
might
to do
have
with
the
Sweden
highest
situation.
testosterone in this conversation right now. Oof.
I literally do. I have to take spironolactone and Dianet, which are 2
Why do I care about the
anti-androgen
medication
drugs.
you were prescribed by
Because
a
it's
doctor?
almost
You
like
might...
when people take things, they take the time to research into them to understand what the side effects are of the
Maybe
fucking
they
drugs
do.
that they are taking.
Maybe they do. Maybe you
maybe
have a
they
little more
don't, though.
insight.
Maybe
Yeah,
they
you
do,
have more
maybe they
insight than
don't.
The average person who takes it or doesn't take it or something like that. But
Then
that
you
has
should
nothing.
do what everyone else does and just fact check me. Then you have
You
Google
should
at
get
your
over your
fingertips.
ego and reconcile that you. I'm sorry, you aren't you're not qualified to discuss this situation in
Ooh.
Sweden.
Well,
The
you
input
know
that
the
you
rest of you
had,
motherfuckers
the input
are.
that you had nothing to do with it. It was completely irrelevant. It was
That
the
is
average
not
Kelly
true.
Jean interjection where you're fucking you turn into ear slicing Julia Childs and your mic gang shoots up to 1 million and you just start cutting through the conversation with irrelevant bullshit.
Oh my
We're
god.
literally talking about puberty blockers, and I started to talk about puberty
No,
blockers.
we were talking about a policy in Sweden that was picked up by a children's hospital in Sweden that their National Medical Advisory Board.
And why
ended
were
up
you
picking-
talking about that if it wasn't because of the context of puberty blockers?
Because GSU Gambit wanted to bring it forward and talk about how people weren't.
So
following
somebody
the
else
science or
wanted to
something.
talk about it, but I was irrelevant. So that doesn't
I
make any
was
sense, does it?
questioning GSU Gambit's entire whatever narrative you wanted to draw from this. I wanted to look into this to understand the situation. The whole point was that whatever GSU Gambit had to say about it and whatever you had to say about it, I wanted to go to the source, right? I wanted to see
So
why
why were
they
you
were
not
making.
as much of a to GSU Gambit as you were to me?
I said to him exactly what I said to you.
No, you did not. That is
Really?
a
What did I
lie.
say to him?
You didn't say, what are your credentials? Are you a doctor? Let's ignore him. You only said that to me.
Because he didn't escalate it to this point. He accepted when I said I want to look into this.
I didn't escalate it either.
Yes,
I was
you
just
did.
talking about precocious puberty and adrenal hyperplasia
Yeah,
as
you took
an
it
example of
personally.
an illness that could cause this. And then you, for some reason, were like, wait, what are your credentials?
Because
was
you
like,
escalated.
what?
Because when
That
I
wasn't
told
an
GSU Gambit,
escalation.
listen,
I
I'm
was
not going
just
to take
talking
his
about
word for it.
puberty
You're doing it now.
What? Kelly's getting
just
gaslit so
talking.
hard.
I am getting very gaslit, yes. This man has lied about multiple things that
Kelly
I've
Jean,
said.
I do not care what you have to say about puberty blockers. Do you know
Like,
why?
everyone gets that. We get that you don't care.
Okay, Is that right or wrong? Should I care what you have to say about puberty blockers?
Well, why be in a room with people and talk with them and like treat them so like with such disregard? It's just not cool.
Because GSU Gambit is telling me about like some policy decisions that are made on a national level in Sweden. I'm not going to take his word on it either.
You don't know what, like, so the actual context of the conversation that was coming up was that we don't know the side effects of puberty blockers.
No.
I interjected and said, well, actually, these are medications that have been around for nearly 40 years. We do know what the side effects are. For example, one of the side effects is, of most of them, but not all, is osteoporosis, for example. So, but the side effects of each medication that can be used for puberty blocking are actually quite different, and that you need to be looking into the individual medicines, because not all of these medicines are used just for puberty blocking, and the majority of them are not primarily used for puberty blocking. For example, one of the medications I take is actually a diuretic, which also has an anti-androgen effect, which is why it's then used for trans women, okay? So a lot of these medicines, they're not just puberty blockers in quotations, and that was all I was trying to explain, because a lot of people have this sort of reticence around puberty blockers because they're kind of scared of them.
Okay,
they're
why
like,
did why did this
happen?
children's hospital in Sweden, why did they stop prescribing it en masse outside of research trials?
You shouldn't be prescribing any of these medications en masse. That's obviously very stupid. They're
Outside of research trials.
Outside of research trials? Are we talking just for transgender people?
Okay. Do you have any idea what the topic was?
That wasn't the topic. I just explained what the
It
topic
was
was.
100% the topic.
Ooh.
Which is why your interjection was irrelevant bullshit that nobody should care
No,
about.
because I just explained what the context of it was when I started speaking,
no.
because they literally said, oh, but we don't know the side effects of these drugs. And I'm like, but yes, you do, because they've existed for 40 years.
Okay, so why did this children's hospital in Sweden do this and then have it picked up by their like National Medical Advisory Board and it turned into national policy?
I don't need to read it to guess, but I know what the side effects of the
What?
medications are. No, I don't need to know, because I know what the medication side effects are.
You don't want to know what the doctors had to say about it? You don't want to know what like a National Assembly of Medical Professionals had to say about this and why this turned into national policy?
It was pretty stupid to be
It's not even important to know what they had to say about it?
medication. Yes, that sounds like a terrible idea, because
Giga
puberty
Chad.
blockers aren't ideal.
Okay, you're
in every
right.
situation.
You're right. Listen, I was wrong. Whatever policy any assembly of medical professionals make about any medication, especially puberty blockers, I should actually just come to Kelly Jean.
Did I
Okay,
say
okay.
that? Are you
Giga
just being
Chad. Giggity, giggity,
patronizing
giggity.
asshole.
You guys are having an online argument about an offline conversation that you guys had off stream on Destiny stream right now. This is like super pointless.
Well, actually, I sent a message to Destiny earlier saying I would just like to discuss puberty blockers, because there seems to be a lot of misinformation.
Okay, then
around
quit
it.
telling me about how it was super unfair to you, because I feel like
You
I was.
were unfair to me.
I don't think
Okay.
so.
Okay, wait, can I interject for a second before Abba says? You can't really say, I don't care about your opinion, who are you, when it's a person that's in the call that you guys are discussing. Clearly, you should be caring about the people's opinions in the call because you're in a call with them, no? Isn't that?
He also told all the others to ignore me as well.
Yeah, I don't care about her opinion about a specific thing that she's not qualified to talk about and that she's not even specifically talking about.
Yeah, but so here's, in my mind, when you say that, this is what it sounds to me like, okay? So all of you guys are poring over meticulously, like, these meta-analyses and these high-level, like, academic research papers, and then Kelly's barging in and saying some retarded shit? Or is everybody just giving their personal opinion on
You
the
give
matter?
a guess. Does that sound like it could be accurate?
No, it sounds like you guys are all probably talking about shit, and you guys hate Kelly Jean, probably for good reason, because she's fucking annoying. But then, in the middle of a conversation where she might have been able to add relevant context, you guys are like, fuck off, Kelly Jean. I want to hear what GSU Gambit, who's probably less qualified
No,
than
I
Kelly to
didn't
talk
want to
about
hear
it.
what GSU Gambit had to say about it. He brought this up, and I said, I want to look into like why they made this decision.
Well, but then why not go look into it? Why even be in the call then?
Okay, because there was a time span of about 0.5 seconds between him bringing this up, me saying I wanted to look into it, and Kelly Jean interjecting. And talking about why puberty blockers are safe, and there's like, yeah, I don't know, like, it was
Okay.
not.
I
It was
did not
important to me.
say puberty blockers are safe. You're such a retard. You say things that I never said.
But you were there. How did it
You
go
have
down?
mental illness.
I
was
swear to
the
God,
one that-
I was definitely not there.
Oh, okay, I thought you might not be there.
Yeah, I definitely
I was the
wasn't.
one that
Oh, it was
brought
American
up one of
Nacho
the
was there.
potential side effects. I was the person who
Listen.
did that.
I've seen Vosh 4 years ago. I'm aware of the negligible loss in bone density thing, but again, like I haven't
Wait,
been.
what? Wait,
I don't know. Like
what
this
was
That's
that?
a thing that's pretty common. You know,
Vosh
if anybody's
covered it.
in this sphere, we've heard.
Oh,
this
I heard
about
that
the
way
negligible loss in
differently.
bone density.
Yeah, no. Vosh covered that same kind of research. before.
Okay, never mind. That sounded really weird to me.
Stop being uncharitable, Destiny.
My only point in bringing that up initially was to let you guys know that these are quite old medications. They do have quite a lot of research on them.
That's not in
They've
dispute.
already. Then why were you such a cunt to me?
Because
Like,
it was
that doesn't
irrelevant
make
to what
any
we were
sense.
talking about.
No, that's not why. You fact checked my credentials,
Hold-
then said we should ignore her because she's not a doctor.
I'm telling you 100%
Because I
that's
used
why.
words that you just couldn't be bothered to Google. Like that's.
Hold on, Kelly. Do you feel like Wicked Supreme is really just like sexism supreme? Do you feel like he's a sexist person?
I don't necessarily think it's sexism. I think
No.
he doesn't like me.
Well, why? Do you think he doesn't like you partially because you're a woman? Because that's what you insinuated earlier. You said, "Oh, you allowed Gambit to say whatever." And be
Whoa,
all,
hold on, wait, hold on. I can only allow one person to gaslight at a time. I don't think Kelly made any insinuation that it was because she was a woman. I think she just doesn't think that he likes her. I don't think she was making it a sexist thing, though, no?
Yeah, I just don't think he likes me.
Oh no, okay. Actually, I'm gonna call you and Destiny out because before Destiny joined, I said, "Do you think I'm sexist?" You said, "No, I just think Wicked Supreme is," and I can roll back the tape because I got it.
I don't think I said that.
Wait, did you say that?
Supreme
Oh,
is
well,
sexist.
if she said that, then Kelly.
I had
Fuck
an
you,
issue
Kelly.
with what he was saying, but I didn't
No,
have an
I'm
issue
gonna
with
roll.
what
Hold
Abba
on.
said.
Roll the
pull out
tape back,
clip.
play the Fresh and Fit song.
Well, if I said that, I misspoke. I don't think he's a sexist either. I just don't think he likes me.
Hold on, I'm gonna mute myself while I go look for it because I
Okay.
definitely heard that. But hold up, and if I find it, look.
Wait, who else just joined? I wish there was like an
Hello,
announcer.
Sonia.
Oh boy. Oh, we're rolling it in. Another 12-person panel.
Yep.
Okay, let me address this directly. Kelly, yeah, I think sometimes you're like really disruptive in these conversations and you say irrelevant things and your mic is really loud. I would say
Ooh.
I don't super enjoy like having you in conversations all the time. But like we met at TwitchCon, we met in person you were like super chill and super cool. It has nothing to do with me disliking you.
Then why did you say the things that you did say? They were really dismissive and not nice.
Yeah, because you should be dismissed. If somebody's saying I want to look up the most current literature on this thing, which has caused for some reason this an entire country that has been really progressive on the use of puberty blockers has completely reversed course. I want to look into why. And if you're like speaking on the topic of why, I don't want to hear what you have to say about it unless you're quoting like. Unless you can point me somewhere to look or something like that, right?
I was
That's
trying to
relevant.
give information on puberty blockers. It was incredibly relevant to the context of the conversation. I don't understand why you don't
It
think that
wasn't
is.
relevant.
Yes, it was. I have explained now twice why it was
Okay,
relevant
you think
in
it
the
was, I
context
think
of
it
this
wasn't.
conversation. So could you not have just like quietly ignored me instead of being a cunt like that? I don't get it.
Okay, I don't think it's really difficult to quietly ignore you when you're like piercing through everyone's ears at like 1 billion decibels.
That wasn't
and
even
you're
true
talking
in that
over
instance.
everybody.
Everyone talks over me too. Like, why are you putting this on
Okay,
me?
well,
Like,
that's
I'm
why
the
I
Oh,
one
she
who
just
talks
said
over
me
you.
too. Oh, wow. Destroying Wicked Supreme. Oh
Shut the
my
fuck up.
god.
We weren't even, to be honest, at that point in the conversation, it wasn't even that like aggressive or people talking over them that much, which is why your response just kind of was even less, just hit me out of nowhere. I don't know.
Okay.
Is it?
There was no like aggressive back and forth at that point in the conversation. No, I was just talking about what puberty blockers actually are and the
Okay.
side effects of them.
I don't doubt that you have some understanding of puberty blockers, and based on the fact that you're prescribed it, that's great. Like, I don't doubt that you have some insight, but that insight might be dated. When we're talking about cutting-edge policy that's made on a national level in a country that's been like really progressive on the use of puberty blockers and being like really permissive about it, I'm thinking there might be some new understanding about these drugs, or there's some decision, or there's some new information that they're making this decision based on, you might not be privy to. And if you're not talking about that specifically, like, I'm really not that interested in what understanding you have on how they work or their safety. or
Okay,
something like
let
that.
me engage with what you just said. So, do you think realistically that a medication that's only ever been used on kids when we're talking about puberty blockers specifically, although they are medicines that are used for a variety of other things depending on the medication, do you think something that we've used for precocious puberty for the last near 40 years, suddenly the side effects would have drastically changed for some reason because they're being used for trans kids?
I don't know. That's why I want to go and look at the reasoning for this like new
Okay, but do you think that
change.
makes much sense?
Wait. Then I'm just gonna ask you again. Why do you think they made this decision? Why do you think the entire country of Sweden has like completely reversed course on this?
Because there are negative side effects that have existed for the last 40 years that these medications have existed, and they're also not ideal. Like, for example, if you're a really
That doesn't
small
answer
trans
my question of
girl,
why they changed course.
Because they're not ideal in every situation, and I can explain why. For example, if you're transitioning.
Wait, Kelly,
to
real
be a
quick. What he's asking is, it's clear that they're not ideal in every situation, but like, why did the thought change? Because apparently they thought it was ideal before, but now they no longer think it's ideal. So why the change?
Well, that was incredibly misguided. I don't know why they would have thought that it was ideal in every situation. That was probably just doctors being dumb. I don't know.
So, do you believe that you're qualified to make national level policy on the use of puberty
Oh my
blockers?
goodness, that's a little bit extreme, I think. But
I'm
no,
not
I
supposed
don't
to
think it
engage
is.
in that conversation.
I think we're here to have a little bit of a discourse around it, right? So we're going to inject some of our opinions and perspectives. We're not considering ourselves to be wiser than the collective medical establishment, right?
Yeah, I wasn't arguing from authority, by the way.
If
I just wanna put that out there.
if you did have some relevant, legitimate authority, I would be happy to listen to you. If you're like, whoa, hang on a minute, I'm a doctor and I deal with this sort of stuff. I'm like a child developmental, whatever psychologist, and I've specialized in, I've got like a fucking side degree in pharmacy or some shit, and I have like a ton of insight in this. I'd be like, oh fuck, tell me about it. Like,
well,
that
but
would
hold
be-
on, but that doesn't fit any of your criteria either, though. Even if they were qualified, like why, unless they know specifics why the policy changed from one country to another, or why that country changed their policies, just because they know the pharmacology doesn't mean they would know why they made the difference in opinion.
I would at least have some faith that if they're commenting on this and they've got like a specialization on it, then they also possess like, the responsibility to keep up on this topic before commenting on it and like have some insight on the topic as well or something, or at the very least on like whatever the latest research on it is, and be able to provide some insight on why
I could
they may
be
have
totally
based on
wrong,
this or
and
that
if
or
somebody who's in these fields wants to correct me, that's fine. But just because you're a doctor doesn't mean you know anything about
You're right.
primary research.
You're
Okay,
right.
all right.
But
You would
it
need to be
means
a
it means more
specialist,
than somebody
yeah.
who has no medical training whatsoever, right?
Maybe.
They would need to be a specialist, probably an endocrinologist
You grant
or something
deference?
along those lines.
You grant
Yes,
deference on a
because-
gradient based on a person's authority.
But nobody in the call was a doctor, so I don't see why it's relevant.
That's right, which is why I wasn't taking GSU Gambit's word on why they made this decision.
You could have just fact-checked what I was telling you,
Oh my god.
instead of just being like,
Oh
fuck
my
you, you're
god.
not a
He's
doctor.
like, oh my god.
We can
Kelly.
loop one more time, and then I'm
Am I
gonna
not
start muting
wrong?
people. I'm gonna lose it.
Abba, what do you want to contribute to this right now?
First, I owe Kelly Jean an apology. I asked her if I was being sexist, and she said no. Then I asked if anyone else was, and she said no. And I said, is anyone being unfair to you? And she said,
Kelly,
typical
dude, I'm
Kelly.
sitting here watching Kelly getting gassed up by like 3 different people. It's hilarious.
Hey, well, listen. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So I just said it.
Gaslighting.
Kelly, I owe you an apology. That was wrong. You just said that or something.
that's okay.
Shut up,
She got
Kelly.
a bit upset.
I
No,
will
it's
say-
okay.
I
It's
will
okay.
say, Destiny, I feel like your streams reach higher highs, but I feel like overall quality of your streams are inferior to Hassan's stream. I think Hassan, in terms of quality of content and consistency, is outpacing you.
True.
Wow.
Outpacing
Oh
you.
my god.
Brave.
So true.
Well, why don't you
So
go
I'd
talk
be
to him
tuning
then, huh?
I'd be tuning into Hassan's streams, you know what I mean, just as a hate viewer, and I'd be like, damn, this shit kind of fire. Like, I think I might sub, or what are they called? The ones where you pay money or something like that on Twitch. And I was just like, bro, why isn't Destiny? And then I gotta watch you do StarCraft and just take a bunch of L's, and it's just like,
Okay,
I don't want to
question
see the people
is,
I admire take L's.
Yeah. Has Hassan beaten space exploration in Factorio? Nope. Has Hassan almost gotten a Grandmaster in StarCraft 2 after being AFK from the game for years? Nope.
Do you
I
think
didn't
that's a
know there was a
gaming?
war
You,
going
hold,
on.
no, hold, do you think that's a gaming achievement? Do you think that's a gaming achievement? What you've just done?
Which one?
Any of them?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guarantee you, none of your gaming achievement even come close to playing Among Us with AOC.
Yeah, it does, because he was a simp for that, okay? Okay. Fuck, hold on.
When you get Joe Biden to play fucking StarCraft with you, I'll take you seriously. Until then, bro, like, get your fucking shit up, man. This
I
is
will get
sad.
Biden, and he will play with me, because me and Biden are
Get
gonna
a
be
single
homies.
politician to play with you, and then I'll take you seriously. But right now, this gaming content, bro, it's just not doing it, bro. We want to see you yell at somebody. We want to see you have a debate. We want to see you go. Anything else? You know, I want to see that on repeat.
Yeah,
Watching you take L's in StarCraft just makes me feel like the left is always losing.
well... Sounds to me like you're not used to the process, okay?
Even your comebacks are trash when you play this game. You're so focused
You don't
on
even
the
know
game.
how
You're
to
trying
play
do-
this. You're farming chat so hard right now. Is this what you do? Is that what you are now? You're a farmer? You're just here to
How
farm
dare
chat?
you tell me I don't know how to play StarCraft? You know I played the original. I've never played StarCraft 2, I won't lie, but I
Yeah.
played the original quite a
Okay.
lot.
Yeah, I'm
So
sure.
yeah, how you gonna tell me I don't know how to play?
Got a lot of insightful things to say about it, okay?
Listen, you don't think I've been part of a few Zerg rushes in real life?
I don't know what that means, but
I'm not gonna lie, it sounds very criminal.
it does. Sounds pretty immigrant-based, too, so not a big fan of.
I'm
that
pretty sure
terminology.
Zerg rushes are what they called the migrations of the
Yeah,
Arabs.
unironically, I think they did. So I'm gonna tell Preach. He's not gonna be very happy about that.
I don't think Priest gives a shit about none of this stuff.
Oh, he'll care.
So I thought, what were we talking? I was thinking that you guys were going to be talking about the puberty blocker situation in Sweden and such. I thought that was kind of an interesting topic, but yeah, that's what I jumped in for. Now it turned into some weird shit with interpersonal beefs and then memeing.
Unfortunately, Destiny has no interest in participating in that debate. He's focused on the Zerg rush. He's participating.
What do you want me to
in
say
now.
about it?
Well,
I don't know. Why did they overrule it? Go, tell me.
Well, I thought what was an interesting sort of. Basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to say, look, we need more time to test this.
Did that fucker just
better
say that and
understand-
fucking leave? What a fucking cuck. Okay, ABBA is the biggest cuck in here. Okay, at least I don't watch. Never mind. What an actual cuck. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so they're saying that they need to do more testing. They need more time to understand what these side effects can be and how it is that they can affect children growing into adulthood later on.
Cool. Okay.
So it's something about like effectively needing more time to better understand this, and that we acted too quickly, or they acted too quickly on using it without enough information on the effects of it. So what I think is interesting though is Supreme. It's like I don't know how much you were leaning on that particular argument, but it's also very similar to the argument that like those who are opposed to gender affirming care for children use the same kind of argument to say, well, the American Association of Pediatrics back in 2018 changed their position to be a gender affirming position, that doctors should affirm the gender of the child, and that this became just the standard for U.S. medicine. Right?
I didn't really have a dog in the race. My position was that I don't know enough about this, and I want to start going and doing the research before commenting on it.
I
Cringe.
see.
Yikes, bro.
So you're trying to be responsible.
Yikes.
Trying to have a responsible way of approaching it and commenting on it. I see. Yeah, because to do that whole thing of like, well, you know, there's like authority now that came from this organization and it's become nationwide, and you know, in Sweden, and we have the same thing here in the U.S. with gender affirming care. So, and considering that people are arguing that that is not an appropriate approach just because that authoritative body made that decision and it became the standard for the nation, doesn't necessarily mean that it is a proper decision that was made or a well-informed
Right.
decision.
It's a long process. The first thing I would look at is I have some faith that they would probably publish their reasoning for why they made that decision, and I would want to compare that on whatever like the latest research is, and look at the citations and look at people commenting on this shit. That's it.
That's what I'm currently doing. Actually, with both of those situations, so that's why I jumped in, because I was like, this is actually really interesting to me. So I'm literally in the middle of going through the citations for that stuff right now. I started doing it on my stream yesterday, but it got way too involved, so we moved on. Decided that I'm going to carry it on in the background, maybe share it with my community in Discord as I do it.
Cool.
It's tedious work, very boring, but well, educational as well. So that's the upshot of it.
Wow.
All right. I'm okay now. Sorry, I sounded upset earlier. It's very good.
Kelly, you just gotta stop the voices, okay?
Have I done any in this conversation?
Not yet, but I'm just saying in general, okay?
All right, then chill. Jeez.
I'm just saying that every now and then
Sonia.
you'll be talking, and then you're gonna do this thing! And it makes me want to kill myself, huh?
Sonia gave a monologue for 3 hours the other
Usually-
day on why she is cucking content. Wait, which one is that?
Uh-oh.
Hang on. Well, hold on.
Sonia, were you there in that conversation? I can't remember. I think maybe
When-
you'd left on the Tuesday. Did you stay much after the stream?
No, I did not.
No,
I
nice.
left right after the milking discourse.
Yeah, that was a good time to leave.
I figured
Jesus
that was
Christ.
the peak of the content. All right, peak of the content has been
Yeah.
reached. I'm out.
Have fun.
I am looking. Oh, are you staying? Or
Okay, I
are
love you
going
guys.
now?
See you later. Ooh.
Be careful,
All
okay?
right, see ya.
Okay. I was looking into the Sweden study specifically, and beyond saying they're gonna stop giving hormones, there really isn't that much of interest in this. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I'm not sure if that means that they've stopped giving the same hormones for like precocious puberty? I assume not.
Okay,
Well,
instead
not
of just
hormones,
guessing
but
all this,
medicines.
Sweden stops puberty. Why don't we just look up one article real quick and
I've
figure it
already
out?
read it.
Okay,
but
what did they
it's-
say?
There isn't
It's
anything other
explicitly
than
for
we've
gender-
stopped it.
Okay, the Karolinska Hospital in
explicitly
Sweden
gender
recently issued a new policy statement regarding treatment of gender dysphoric minors. This policy, affecting Karolinska's pediatric gender services at Astrid Lindgren Children's Hospital, has ended the practice of prescribing puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones to gender dysphoric patients under the age of 18. This is a watershed moment with one of the world's most renowned hospitals calling the Dutch protocol experimental and discontinued its routine use outside of research settings. According to the Dutch protocol, which has gained popularity in recent years, gender dysphoric minors are treated with puberty blockers at age 12 and in some interpretations upon reaching Tanner stage 2 of puberty, which in girls can occur at age 8, and cross-sex hormones at the age of 16. This approach, also known as medical affirmation, has been endorsed by WPATH Standards of Care 7 guideline. According to Karolinska's newest policy, which went into effect in May 2021 going forward, hormonal, puberty blocking, and cross-sex hormone interventions for gender dysphoric minors may only be provided in a research setting approved by Sweden's Ethics Review Board. The policy states that careful assessment of the patient's maturity level must be conducted to determine if the patient is capable of providing meaningful informed consent. There's also a requirement that patients and guardians are provided with adequate disclosures of the risks and uncertainties of this treatment pathway. It is not clear whether minors under the age of 18 or under 16 to be eligible for such trials. The Karolinska Hospital's new policies echo a growing international concern over the proliferation of medical interventions that have low certainty of benefits while carrying a significant risk for potential harm or for medical harm. The latest policy, issued by the Karolinska Cities and the UK NICE Evidence Review, which found the risk-benefit ratio of hormone interventions for minors highly uncertain. The 2020 UK Judicial Review, which highlighted the overarching ethical problems with the practice of medical affirmation of minors, as well as Sweden's own health and technological assessment. Evidence review conducted in 2019, which found a lack of evidence for medical treatments and a lack of explanation for the sharp increase in the numbers of adolescents presenting with gender dysphoria in recent years. In recent months, several countries' health authorities found that the evidence base is insufficient to justify routine, early medical interventions for gender dysphoric minors, failing to revise its treatment guidelines in June of 2020, prioritizing psychological interventions and support over medical in North America. Okay. All right.
Yeah, all I got from it is that the benefits are not enough to potentially justify some of the negative outcomes, and that was it.
Okay, cool.
Did you get anything else from that?
That's exactly what I got, but that answers your earlier question, where earlier you mentioned something like, I wonder if they'd stop prescribing this for for precocious puberty or whatever. It doesn't seem like there's any indication that would be the case. It sounds like for the case of gender dysphoric minors, they decided that there's not a benefit that outweighs the potential risk for that, and they can't seem to find an explanation for all the new kids coming in and saying like, bro, I'm non-binary, Zim, give me my puberty blockers.
Yeah, no, I said there was no mention of that, so presumably they haven't stopped giving out the medications completely. It's just in the circumstance they won't be. But, I mean, what I don't understand is why they felt the need to do a trial like this when they knew what the side effects of the drugs were in the first place. But maybe it was just to see how much it, like, positively affected the kids.
Correct. Medical interventions,
mentally?
medical interventions aren't no side effects. Medical interventions are, do the benefits outweigh the side effects? So the issue was that, yeah, we know there are side effects to puberty blockers, but maybe they have potential huge upsides for trans people, so those upsides outweigh the side effects. But now, it seems like upon further review,
social effects, like not committing suicide as much and things like this.
Yeah, basically stuff like that, yeah. But it seems like there's the benefits don't seem to be as clear or are mixed at best, but the side effects are certain, so it's hard to justify that treatment.
Yeah, no, and I would have said it was really stupid to be just prescribing it to all trans kids anyway.
But you wouldn't have known that without the research. That's the whole
idea.
point of the research. You don't know if it's a terrible idea without collecting data on it or not, right?
That's what they're focusing on right now.
Yeah.
Going forward with more of the research.
Yeah, but the problem is, though, this feels kind of bad because it might discourage people who would have genuinely benefited from this medication because now everyone has this as a boogeyman.
No,
When
that's
the
dumb. If
reality
you've
is-
got it, no. That's like saying that people aren't going to take ivermectin now for parasites because ivermectin doesn't work for COVID. Like, puberty blockers are probably still a good thing to prescribe for people that have, you're saying precocious puberty. I'm guessing where somebody goes through puberty at far too early of an age for some
Yes.
endocrinology reason or some bullshit. So I'm sure that it'll still be prescribed in those cases, and I'm still sure it'll be beneficial in those cases.
Yeah, no, I'm not discounting that it will be used in those cases, and the medications are used for other things too. It wasn't that. It was crap. No, it's more like it's created kind of like a boogeyman effect around this as a concept of the people that don't know what medications are. So now that people that don't have information and have never looked into this type of thing are thinking, oh, the benefits don't outweigh the side effects, therefore it is always bad, which is that is a conclusion that people do draw.
Okay. Maybe, yeah.
Well, it's not something that anyone seems to actually spend any time looking into. I don't know.
Because I don't hear
Zonia
people
has-
saying that. I've never heard anybody in my life say, wow, we have to stop puberty blockers for everybody now. I've just never heard that claim before. But if you're saying people make that claim, then I guess maybe they do, and
No,
that's stupid.
I didn't
but...
say that either. I said boogeyman is sort of creating like this false idea of like some kind of a new issue around the medication that has existed for decades. That's what I'm suggesting.
Yeah, but what do you think? It's but just in the context of trans people, though, right?
Yeah, but why would a 9-year-old kid that wants to be trans be any different than any other 9-year-old kid that's going through puberty? There's not like some other medical condition on top of that.
Well,
that would
because there's
somehow
probably
affect the outcomes
what?
of
Hold on,
drugs.
because that wasn't the difference. Because somebody going through puberty far too early and needing to delay it for health reasons is different than somebody that wants to delay their puberty because they might be trans. So of course the
Yeah,
medical
of
guidelines for the
course.
trans. Yeah, so that's of course there's gonna be a difference there, right?
Yeah, yeah, but at the end of the day, they're just both still stopping puberty in a child, so there's not really any difference there. Right?
At the end of the day, me mugging a guy in the street and a cardiologist performing open heart surgery or putting a knife into somebody, but the two situations aren't comparable.
Well, obviously, when there is a medical condition, the benefits are then way outweighing the side effects. Yes, I that much I agree with. I'm not going to disagree on that part, but it's more that the side effects have always been the same. It's that part is what tends to get misconstrued as though this is like a whole new concept, and when it's not.
Okay. Well, if I saw somebody doing that, I'd say, wow, that's pretty dumb. But I don't think I've ever heard anybody misconstruing them before.
Let
But
Zonia speak, maybe. Do you have opinion?
Well, so I'm thinking that if the approach is with gender dysphoria, there's probably other information there that they're considering looking at and other potential treatments aside from giving puberty blockers. And so they're saying that effectively there is that the puberty blockers themselves, the risks outweigh the benefits that we have information on right now, according to our research. And there are other methods that we can approach this from to help address gender dysphoria that are lower risk. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
no.
thinking is the situation that's going on there. The problem is that, of course, these things are being politicized, and so inevitably there's a big scare around the whole thing and a lot of people reacting to the politicization, and that's obviously not going to be beneficial. And but that's how all this shit goes, right?
Do you understand what I mean when I say that it feels like there's a boogeyman around it now?
I think the boogeyman
yeah.
is in your head.
Shut
I-
up.
That's the politicization, right?
Well, it's the psychosis. Kelly's
Who's
experiencing.
psychosis?
You,
Yeah.
bro, I just
Oh.
crushed this fucking guy's bullshit.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm still digging into it. I don't have all the information yet, so I'm hesitant to make any real strong statements about it. But
Cringe.
No, I was just curious because I felt like if someone would get that kind of a vibe, it would be you would understand. But I mean, I don't know how much research you've ever done into
I've done
some of the
all the
medicines that
research,
people
so if
take.
you have questions,
I wasn't
anybody.
talking to you.
well, like, what would be your example of are you observing people also seeing that boogeyman? And like,
Yes.
what are your examples of
When she
that?
closes her eyes at night.
Shut up. It just seems to be people, so they either reference this study or similar and just, you know, as a reason to just not give it to kids at all.
No
which is my issue.
shot.
Yes.
So I haven't seen much of this or any of it really.
Don't
but
worry, she
I don't know,
hasn't
just some example of like, have you heard of people also wanting to take their kids off of it for who have precocious?
No, not in that case. Obviously, because in
Oh,
that
okay.
instance, the benefits outweigh the negatives, yes.
Okay, so it is narrowly then a boogeyman for gender dysphoria.
Yeah, and I'm not saying people say it directly. They don't usually. It's more sort of like, oh, they kind of gesture wildly to these types of things as a reason for why they could be bad, but they don't really specify why. They don't talk about the medication specifically or anything like this. It's sort of left vague in the minds of a lot of people that are discussing it because it's easier to sort of demonize these things as a concept if you're vague about it. I don't know. That was just the impression I get. I could be wrong, I guess.
I mean, that sounds like how people do this shit with everything that's, you know, some polarizing wedge issue.
Yeah, it's just disappointing in my case because if these were new medications, I would understand a lot easier. I'm just like, bro, you've had these meds for ages. What the fuck?
Well, I wouldn't call that ages because when you think about it, they're puberty blockers affecting people who develop from childhood into adulthood, right? And so if you think about it, they have been in use for the past 40-ish years or so, but that means that your testing pool is limited to effectively maybe 2 generations of its use and not across a broad pool, right? It's a very, very small sample size. So there's not a lot of information on that. It's difficult to, you can't really take that and then say, well, it's well
Um,
tested for ages. It's been in
I
use
will
for
just
ages,
interject
right?
with something because a lot of these medications aren't only used for precocious puberty. They are used for a number of other illnesses, depending on the medicine. Like
Yeah,
some of them are used for cancer, some of them are used as a diuretic for heart problems.
but
Like it
it's
depends on the
different when you're
medicine.
is different when you're developing from a
Yeah, yeah,
child
yeah.
into
No,
an
I
adult. So
agree.
that
I
narrows
agree.
down what you have to look at, right?
But the actual pool of people using a lot of these medications is quite a bit bigger if you were to just include everyone that's using any of these medications. So we can still like get a good idea of what the negative side effects of them are.
Not when it comes to developing a human from a child into an adult. That's a that's
Okay,
a
hold
much
on.
narrower thing that you have to analyze and look at
One
the
second.
effects of.
I have no idea how long you guys can talk about this without there being like a breathing room, but Steven, when are you gonna get a VR headset?
I don't know. I don't know
What's
anything
your
That was
about.
random.
are you poor or something?
It
What's
just
taking
seems
so
like
long?
so fucking lame that I have to run around my living room and setting it all up. Seems like there's like other things I should do
Oh, it's
first.
so fun. I want people to play VR Among Us with.
I just want to play with the 12-year-olds.
I
That
think
sounded really
ARC
weird,
will
but
play with you if you get the VR one. She
Yeah,
hasn't
do you
done
think
that
so?
yet.
I wanna
to
bully kids.
outdo
Maybe.
Hassan. Yeah. Okay. Get one. Bye.
okay, bye.
Is it a much better experience in VR, Among Us?
I don't know. The idea of like chasing around like little 10-year-olds that are like screaming in fear is fucking hilarious. We saw the there was some clip of some streamer doing that. It just seems so fucking funny.
Don't give kids puberty blockers, just bully them in Among Us instead.
Based.
Why not?
VR phasmophobia.
True. Come on, Meta.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, did you understand what I was saying? That like it's a narrower range of effects that they have to look at the outcomes of. Like they have to look at the what the negative effects are versus the positive effects of that. And so you have to narrow it down. You can't just say, well, yeah, we've had them for 40 years, but 60+% of
I
the people
don't
that have been
disagree
using
with
it
you.
were already fully developed adults or something, right? So
I don't
that narrows it
disagree with
down.
you, but I also don't think that observing how people take the medications and the effect that they will have on people that aren't kids as well is not useless information either. And we can still get like a good idea from all of the kids that have been treated by these medications in the past too. Like maybe I haven't looked into exactly how big the sample size is, but there are a number of illnesses that can cause precocious puberty. But then again, not all kids get treated for it. Some of them just go through really early puberty and they're left to their own devices. So yeah, I don't know. That could be interesting to look into, I suppose.
Wow. Where is Kyle at?
I don't know.
All
I'm
right, I'm
trying
gonna
to
drop off,
summon
guys.
every light.
I think I've talked about what I want to talk about. You all have fun.
Be careful, babe.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Good job, Kelly. You got gassed up by 2 people and you held your ground.
Well, I did nearly cry, so that's kind of cringe.
Ooh.
So I don't know.
Pretty
It's
cringe.
fine. Yeah, I can't help it. There's not many things that upset me, but being accused of saying things I didn't say over and over and over again just gets me to the point where I'm like, is forethought still muted?
Fuck. Can somebody DM
What do you want?
Kyla and tell her to come in here? It's time.
I'll DM.
Okay, thank you.
What did you want to talk to her about? This kind of stuff?
Whether or not I hate women.
Oh. Like, don't base it on whether you hate
Bro,
me or
wake
not,
up.
okay?
Okay.
Everyone hates me. It's alright.
Little bro wasn't watching his shit. Oh no.
Not more than I hate myself.
Good one.
Haha.
Did you message her?
Me
Yeah, I
or
just did.
forethought? Oh.
Okay. Is she coming?
I don't know. She hasn't responded yet.
Fucking loser.
Let me see. She's actually online. Wasn't she streaming pretty late yesterday? She has like an actual job, so
Yeah, as a what? Psychometrician or psychometrist? Don't get it wrong. Her President Sunday is including you in his next video.
Yeah, that guy is a schizo.
If Kyle doesn't come on, talk to me. Oh, Joanne, you definitely want to be in this convo.
Who?
Joe. Some fucking loser Australian person.
Wait, we have Australians? Wow.
Unfortunately.
Wait, why do you hate Australians?
Honestly, it's just because I mix them up with British people all the time, so I just have to hate them, like, just in case. Like, I don't want to accidentally like a person, and then I find out that I thought I liked them because they're Australian, but I found out that they're actually British, and I'm like, fuck.
Understandable.